Some updates. Um, First of all, I need to do my hair. That is why this doohickey is on. It's a mess. Um, but thank God I do my own hair because y'all know me. I am very much into my fashion, my clothes, my hair, my shoes. I'm known to be that person that's gonna come in the room with something like really unique, or just different in general. So, um, updates. I still don't have a job. I am still a jobless black woman. Um, I have had an interview for one job, and I did not get that job. Found out earlier this week. But a lot of times when you apply for jobs and you don't get the job, I'm sure you all have experienced this, may have experienced this before, that they'll just email you and say, thank you for applying, for interviewing, whatever it may be, and then be like, we went with another candidate. One thing I will say about this organization is that it was just really different, a breath of fresh air for them to, or for HR and kind of the same person that does the recruitment to reach out and actually have a conversation with me and, a voice to voice time of feedback. And I thought I was going to get on this call and there was going to be conversation around oh, well, we went with this person because this, that, and a third. And I will say that it is such a blessing to hear that the reason I didn't get the job is because it was pretty much between myself and one other candidate. And hey, maybe they see this video and it's like, that is not what we told this girl, but this is my understanding. But it was pretty much that. So it was a pretty much like a marketing firm. And the other person just happened to have experience in training people on digital marketing. So if I have not mentioned in any of these videos before, I do corporate training. That is, or was my last role, what I've been doing for the past 4 years. But all of my experience has been in the staffing industry. So, or workforce solutions. So I was with my last company for 9 years, in getting laid off from a company that you genuinely just truly love, and really love what you do and love the place that you work in and the people that you work with and who you interact with. And if I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but literally the place that I thought that I would retire from is heartbreaking. Not all of us can say emphatically that we love the place that we work for, we love the job we do, and I was just so blessed to be able to say both of those things. So long story short, yeah, had this other person not came along and had that digital marketing training experience, from what I understood, they would have chosen me. And the feedback was that the team really loved me. The HR guy was and recruiter slash recruiter, he was like, I really loved you, really liked you. And so it was, it sucks to be like, oh shoot, it's been almost 3 months now that I've been out of work. But it is good to know that it wasn't that I had a bad interview, that I didn't have all of the other skills. It's literally that specific industry experience. And that's good to know. Because let's say, the next interview that I get, prayerfully I get soon. Well, I should say prayerfully, not, but also fingers crossed, toes crossed, all the things, y'all, all of them. Um, all of those things are important. But either way, um, prayerfully, the next interview that I get, um, it's an opportunity to kind of expand my horizons. I enjoy the workforce solutions industry simply because so much of that work is just helping people. If you know me, like helping people is like my top joy. And hearing myself say that is so interesting because my sister and I mess with my mom all the time because we're like, what do you like to do? Like, what are your hobbies? Like, she's not into like all the things my sister are. Like, my sister and I, two of the things that we definitely have in common, as far as like things we really, really love, is travel and music. My mom ain't into either one of those things. So we just be like, but what do you like? And I remember when we dragged her along, we took her for a birthday trip to Costa Rica. We dragged her to Costa Rica, and I remember us sitting at this table in this restaurant. We were like, but what do you love to do? And why this story is coming up, side story, sorry, is she said that she really likes helping people. Um, so maybe that's where I get it from. We grew up like a whole other family living with us at one point. We gave up our bedrooms. We slept in the room with my mom and for a few months. And this is not me being like, oh, my mama put us out. No, it is genuinely saying like my mom has been helping people since we were kids. And maybe that's where I get it from. I truly have a joy for helping people, or just doing nice things for people, or finding things that I think will bring people joy. Like if you've ever experienced me just randomly giving you a gift, and that's not me bragging. Sorry, it's more so like the feedback that I've gotten. But it's just that is my like kind of my love language, is giving people like unexpected things and really just helping them to feel good. Like, and I'm obviously someone that truly loves like um, making sure people are good from a mental health standpoint. And you all know my journey with depression and anxiety. Um, and if I'm being very, very honest, this week has been one of those weeks. It's been very difficult. Um, I have been trying to figure out making this video. And if you're looking at me right now and you see the glossiness in my eyes, I'm literally trying not to cry. I be crying all the time. But yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I have to get my catalytic converter replaced, and I was hopeful that it would be at a different rate than what I've been quoted. And so just trying to figure that out. It's more so difficult from the perspective of money that I was hopeful to be able to hold on to for a little while longer while I look for work. But I was talking to my old coworker yesterday, and I'm so grateful to still have that friendship and be connected to some of those folks. And in full transparency, hopeful to reconnect with some of them. I've reached out and no response, but sometimes you let go, you move on, and that's okay. But yeah, I was talking to my coworker yesterday, and even in these times where I feel like a little down and out, I don't feel like I'm in a place of being like depressed. And I genuinely feel grateful for where I'm at. I feel grateful for a lot of things, And I cannot even imagine, even just the people that got laid off at my organization along with me. So annoyed that I'm always crying. I can't imagine being in a space where you also have to worry about mortgage, rent, your utilities, and all those bills, and taking care of your kids. And what if you're in a situation where the one spouse that was working is the one that got laid off, and now both of you are without a job? Like that is so scary, and so a lot to think about, a lot to deal with. And so I have to just be grateful. I have to be grateful for, in this time, like I I feel like, had this happened a little bit closer to all of the other things that happened last year, I would have definitely had much more of a breakdown. But I feel grateful. I genuinely feel grateful, and I feel grateful for my village for really just being there for me. Um, I my biggest struggle is like not getting out. Like my ex, he always like, you're a socialite. Like I wouldn't consider myself a socialite. I'm honestly more introverted than people think. Um, I think that I come off as not being introverted because I'm genuinely interested in people, as far as like how they think, how they tick, um what are the things they care about, why do they think the way they think. Um and I think that that is a lot to say about why I love doing corporate training so much, because you genuinely have to get into the psyche of that person to understand like how they learn to be more effective. So I I've rambled a lot because it's just I feel very overwhelmed in this space right now this week. But what I want to say to you, if you are in this space right now, is when I got the call Monday to say, hey, you didn't get the job, I went into hyper mode of, oh, I need to revamp my resume, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even know the reason why I didn't get the job yet. Am I still going to revamp my resume? Yeah. But not for the same reasons now. The reason before was more so like, oh, I must not be a good candidate. I must not have these right skills and this and that and blah, 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 which is likely why I'm not hearing back from people. I do other people's resumes and get them people hired, and I ain't been hired. I ain't been called or nothing. So it just feels so insane. But, it's one of those things where I'm like, as I'm like going through job descriptions and doing this and doing that and working with Chat GPT to kind of ask questions and get thoughts on this and that to revamp my resume. Like I'm very much like the person that's going to write what it says, but I'm more so like looking at the formatting, if you will, and the thought behind it as far as like who's looking at it and what you should and should not say. But anyway, I was more so looking at it from that perspective, and now I'm looking at it from the perspective of, girl, there are so many things that people are looking for that you did not mention on your resume, that you're missing, that you should be saying, that you're likely not getting callbacks for. But what I also said to myself was, and please take this with a grain of salt because maybe this is not the space that you're in and maybe you're not able to do this. But what I told myself this week was, I'm not applying for any jobs this week. First, it was because I was down. But second, it was because I said to myself, sometimes you got to take that break to really recharge, rethink, revamp, and say, I need to do a couple things before I dive back in. because you'll find yourself just throwing stuff out there, and then a job that you really probably could have gotten is something that you should have taken a little more time and just waited. And that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting. So the next time I apply for a job will be on Monday. So right now it's Friday. I've been working on my resume here and there all week. I've given myself that space to grieve the life that I thought I would have. I've given myself that space this week to cry when I need to cry, to sit when I just need to sit. I've given myself that space. I've given myself that permission. And I hope that you give yourself that permission too, to do those things. So, on another note, if you've watched my previous videos, one of the videos I talked about doing an app called Gig Walk. Y'all, I finally got paid from them. So I will admit, I did not realize that one of the stipulations it says is that some of the companies have up to 2 weeks to pay you. And they took that full 2 weeks. So I it's been a little while since I talked about that. So it's been like a couple weeks since I did get my little $15. So, but I was like, okay, well, now that I know that, I will give them a better rate. So I did get the money. So my error, I will say that. But yeah, so I'm continuing to try other things. My additional update would be that I did lose my one customer for Rover, which is, I understand his reasoning. The owner, the pet's owner, he decided to take his dog to his parents because she's an older dog. She has arthritis. And so she's not used to being at home by herself for all those hours because he did used to work from home. And now he's working a different job where he's going in the office 3 days a week. And so she's in the house like quite a bit of time by herself because my assumption is like he has like a longer commute because he said she's in that house like sometimes up to like 12 hours by herself, which is normal for most people who work. My dog has never like really experienced that because I've always worked from home. I've worked from home since like 2016. And so and I got Raleigh in 2019. So she's almost 7. She'll be 7 in April. But yeah. So I don't have any Rover customers. Still looking for a job and just trying to be in a space of thankfulness and gratefulness. And so if you see something out there, let me know. Oh, and then working on school, and also decided to take I think I mentioned, in a previous video about the certification that I wanted to do. So I did, figure out getting a student membership, and so that was $129. So this is for the Association for Talent Development, and it's like a industry kind of standard as far as corporate training or learning and development as far as the certification. So I am going to do the lower certification. That one is $399 to take the exam, and I have to study on my own because the cost for like the y'all, this hair gotta come out anyway. The cost for me to do like a prep class is like, I think like $1,300 if I'm remembering correctly. It's over $1,000. I do know that for sure. But obviously that is not in the cards for me right now. And so I am going to just have to study on my own alongside continuing my dissertation work. And I've just been doing other little random seminars, webinars, or whatever. I'm doing an orientation at the end of the month to start doing some work with a career cafe that helps young Black women with like career stuff, resumes and things like that, interview prep. And so I'm hopeful that I'll be able to like have opportunity to like get on a panel or help with an event. And so I'll do that orientation at the end of the month. And yeah, just continuing to try to find free stuff to do. For the most part, I'm in the house, unless I'm going to physical therapy. And fingers crossed that I'm almost done with physical therapy, and then I can continue this whole process, closing this whole ordeal out with the whole legal thing and all of that. But yeah, that's about it right now. So this one's pretty long. If you've watched this far, I appreciate you. And if not, whoever's here is here. And if not, I've at least chronicled my own journey. So I will see you all in the next one. Bye.